Welcome to the podcast. Today we are going to be talking about saints, people's favorite saints, why they like them, and why being a saint, how to become a saint in this modern day and age, and everything like that. So, Braden, what would you say your favorite saint is?
I like Saint Augustine. It's a good one.
Which one?
Of Hippo.
Ooh, that's a good
Like the animal,
Crushing
but
jaws.
except it's the place.
You know, hippos actually have so much blubber that if they were to get attacked by something, let's say a bear, the teeth wouldn't be able to penetrate it, so a bear actually would not be able to beat a hippo in any case.
What about a lion?
I think a lion would be the same story.
What about a human?
Human would be screwed. They
But
just grab you and just-
Humans have invented things to kill things,
You had a
like
spear.
weapons,
Well, weapons...
guns.
A spear could get
unfair.
through. It's because of the hippo.
Why is he your favorite, Braden?
He's got a great story of having a very immoral life.
Let's give a brief of his story, Braden.
So he was I think he was about in his early 20s, and he was living a immoral life, like crazy party style.
I think he had like 10 kids, I heard.
Yeah, he had a bunch of kids with a lady he was not married to, and his
That's
mother
amazing.
was Saint Monica, and she was always Catholic. His father, I think he was part of another religion. But-
Manichaean.
Yeah,
He's a Manichaean.
but yeah, he always. That's what I was
Why are
gonna
you
say.
laughing?
But you're correcting his story. It's just funny.
It's not correcting. He's
I'm
adding
showing
to
off.
it. He's adding to
Same
it.
thing. It's funny.
So he always wanted to find the right religion for him. Eventually, he became Catholic, and him and his mother were happily Catholics forever. And he eventually became a doctor of the church, even.
A saint, even, I heard.
Yeah, even.
But yeah, but a doctor of the church is like
Something like
what you get promoted to after you've been saint.
Yeah, it's pretty
Next
big.
level.
Pretty big deal.
There's only
Yeah.
like 30 of
Saint
them.
World.
20, I think it's like 27.
31 coming soon.
Oh, sorry. Very nice.
Well, if it's 27, 31.
Oh
Whoa.
yeah.
Oh.
The podcast will get some traction. Then we just all need to die and become doctors of the church.
Yeah.
You
These
have to-
videos
You
are
to
gonna get
contribute a
tons of views.
lot to be a doctor of the
Our
church.
children will be
Okay.
profiting big time off this podcast.
Are any of the doctors of the church have kids? They're probably all like
Saint
monks
Augustine.
and stuff.
Yeah, he had.
Okay, but
Those 10 kids were living it up. Well, they probably were.
Calvin, what are your favorites?
Nah, you were going in line.
Bobby,
Oh.
what are some of your favorite saints?
No, what is your
What's your
favorite,
favorite
saint?
saint?
Thomas
I could
Aquinas,
have guessed that.
the smartest guy. He sat in a tower and wrote a bunch of books, and then he died because he was fat. Also a doctor of the church.
Good job! Brought back around. Why do you like him so much?
Because he's really smart.
That's really
Lots of theological insights. He wrote a lot of books. I'm reading one of them right now. It's not fun. It's very informative.
Well, nah.
Well, that's a good
It's
thing.
like this thick, it's like this tall, and it's in 6-point font.
Ooh, that's not fun.
Nice.
It takes like half an hour to read a page.
But imagine, once you put in those 20 hours of reading,
No.
that'll be good.
It's 1,200 pages.
How far in are
12
you?
years of reading.
2 pages.
I've been reading it for a year, and I'm like 500 pages in.
Is it that one really big one?
Almost halfway there. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Another year and a half, and you'll be good to go.
Yep.
So, my favorite saint is Padre Pio. I really like.
Is that a yawn?
What?
That was a yawn. You can't
What's
yawn
wrong
about
with
the
Padre
saint.
Pio?
What do you have against him?
I didn't sleep
Why didn't you sleep?
How's that Padre Pio's fault?
because I don't know.
Don't yawn.
Not
It's
intense-
disrespectful
I'm
to Padre
not
Pio.
trying to. Okay.
Wow.
There
I always think he's so amazing because he had the Sigma and Philo, okay? Which is just an amazing thing to think that you could even do it. And he was just so devout. He fought to be part of the church so hard, and he became a priest despite being poor. His family really put in the work for him, which is just an amazing story.
And we watched a 3-hour movie about him.
Yeah.
3 hours?
It was all dubbed in English.
Oh, it wasn't even English?
It
was a sacrifice.
was a pretty good movie, though. It was pretty good.
I'm no Padre Pio, but I did have to watch a 3-hour dubbed movie, so I'm just saying.
It's pretty devout.
Doctor of the Church coming soon.
Okay, Dylan, what's your favorite saint?
Well, my favorite saint would have to be Saint Paul, but everybody knows about Saint Paul. So my second favorite saint is Saint Polycarp. Saint Polycarp is not a very well-known saint, but he was a disciple of Luke, who was a disciple of Paul. It all kind of fits together. And I would say the most fascinating thing about Polycarp's life was actually moments before his death. He was asked to renounce his faith, and when he wouldn't, they burned him at the stake. But he would not burn, so they had to stab him to death instead, while there were still flames at his feet.
Is that going to happen to you someday, Dylan?
Doctor of the Church. He's not a doctor of the Church, but I would. Maybe? No, he's not. People would know about him if he was. But that's my second.
I think quite a few people know about St. Polycarp.
That would be awkward, though. You'd be like, yes, I'm not burning. And then they just stab you. You're like, well, that really wasn't
That'd be cool.
that helpful.
What was the story?
Sends a
I mean,
message,
it's a good story, but it didn't help him.
So I don't know if everybody knows just how hard it is to actually get canonized and become a saint, and it's especially surprising because of just how many thousands of saints there are. But what all is really involved, if you could summarize it quickly?
Okay, so you die, and then what happens is typically about 5 years after you die, if people think you were a saint, they can start an investigation, at which time you get the title Child of God, right? That's like, you know how it's saint, somebody would be Child of God, so and so. And then at that time, this is just local in your parish. People start looking into you, reading files and doing.
They find your old podcast.
Yeah, just get all the stuff. And then, I forget where it goes next, but at that point, you're venerable, and they start looking into making you blessed. Okay? And this is at the level of now the Vatican and all the big church leaders. And so at this point, it gets really in-depth. And at this point, you actually do get a feast day, but it's only for places that people would be close to you. So for example, St. John Paul II, when he was blessed, you could only celebrate his feast day in Poland, because that's where he lived, or Rome, because that's where he was Pope. Right? And it wasn't like, in America, it wasn't a thing. Now, and then you have to get your miracles, right? And they look into that.
You get blessed after one miracle.
Yeah, and then you become a saint after 2 miracles. And a saint, you get a feast day, and everybody can celebrate you.
And you get more prayer cards, typically.
Yeah.
And more name recognition and eternal fame. So, being a
That's the
saint,
goal.
being a saint is pretty good for your networking, too.
Once you're dead.
If you're good enough, if you're well-known enough, you get even more famous after you become a saint.
That's not true. Everybody knew Mother Teresa and John Paul II just as much as they did when they were blessed.
But now more people will know them. Because eventually their fame will have died off as history, but now they're saints, so now their history gets taught more throughout the church.
There's
Do you think
so many
do you
saints
think
nobody
if
ever talks
Saint
about.
Polycarp wasn't a saint, no one would know about him? No. Eternal
I
fame.
learned about him because it was
Yeah, but how
researching
many saints do we know about?
I don't know.
Could you
Does anyone know
list
the number?
30 saints?
No, I can't. When you say just list something off the top of your head, most people can't do it.
Could you list 20 saints?
If he does, if
You're still saying to
you
listen
could just
to
give
you list.
names, and I'm sure it would be
3
right.
saints.
Yes.
Come on, Cal. I'm throwing you a line.
Saint Augustine,
Right.
Thomas Aquinas, Polycarp.
Okay, go.
3 saints.
Right.
Good job.
No more.
You know who's underrated? The Old Testament saints.
For sure.
Like Moses.
No one thinks of them when you
Nobody
say
thinks
saint.
about Moses. Moses was awesome.
And he's a saint.
He was a pretty cool guy.
King David. He's a saint.
Of course, yeah.
Made some
Yeah,
questionable
he had his
decisions, but he's still a
downfall.
saint.
Redemption. It's a redemption arc.
King Solomon's probably in hell.
Wow.
But
He
I
did some good things, though. He did some cool things.
I mean, there's like Elijah and them,
Look up if Solomon's a saint.
prophets
It's
of
King
old.
Solomon.
No, he had all his wives in adultery.
That
and-
wives were not a bad thing.
Idolatry.
Back in the day. What am I doing?
They were.
But they led him into idolatry.
Well, yeah,
We're gonna see, Bob.
That's probably not a good thing.
So, is King Solomon a saint?
The Old Testament saints, though, you barely think of them. You're like, oh, they're just story
They're just the
characters,
old
but
guy.
they're real saints.
Look at what idiot. The first thing is King Solomon in heaven? How are you supposed to know?
Maybe you should.
Well,
look
if you're a
up.
saint, you're
In
in
the
heaven.
Eastern Orthodox Church, Solomon is commemorated a saint.
Ooh, he's not in hell.
Really?
But
Good. Good to hear.
Who else do you think's in hell that might be a saint, Bobby?
Not answering that.
Okay.
Angel saints.
Ooh, yeah, that's always kind of been interesting to me that angels can be saints.
Yeah, I guess it's a mark of authority. It's not like, okay, all the angels are saints, but you also, I mean, they're all in heaven, but
Yeah.
it's like if you're
It's
called a
different, they're not
saint, you
human.
get a
The
special
angels that aren't in
bonus.
heaven aren't angels.
Turns out,
Devil, demon,
demons.
dudes.
Dude.
Devil demon dudes.
Yeah.
Watch out for those ones.
It really makes you think though, like why? So it's like, as you said, mark of authority, but you don't typically think. You think saints are just people, not other things too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty weird.
So, how do you guys think you can strive to be more saintly? What do you think are the main things, Braden?
Thank you.
Holy crap!
Well, something. Did you say be more holy?
All you have to do is just not commit a mortal sin. That's literally all you have to do. And then if you do, you just have to go to confession before you die. That's all you have to do
You
to go
have
to heaven.
To go to
Well,
heaven.
to
but
go
be
to
a
heaven.
saint.
Well, no, everyone
Because
in
there's
heaven is a
capital
saint.
S saints and there's
Yeah.
lowercase saints.
We're talking
But
about
do you
big
want
saints.
you gotta be the
To
famous?
be a big saint, you'd have to help.
We're talking
a lot
about for
of,
networking,
You'd have to
Bobby.
like help a lot of people or do something big, probably,
Yeah.
to get your name out.
You have
Because
to.
otherwise,
Wait, here's a
you're not gonna get
question.
any of those miracles.
Here's a question about saint networking. Once you die, does LinkedIn delete your profile? Or can people no longer follow you?
No,
It's a real good question about saint
Calvin's
networking.
becoming a saint for clout.
it's like saying if you die, will your Twitter profile get deleted?
Well, no.
It's
Twitter's
the
a-
same thing.
Twitter's a different platform than LinkedIn. LinkedIn's more business focused.
LinkedIn isn't gonna realize
But-
that you're dead.
No, if you're big enough though.
Oh,
Like Dylan here
Probably
dies brutally,
I don't
martyred
think
for his
anyone
faith.
on LinkedIn would care.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
if people
They
want to
won't.
follow a saint on LinkedIn,
I haven't posted for quite a while.
Exactly.
He's
I think
okay.
LinkedIn will mark dead on the profile. I'm just saying. So there
It would
goes
just
one
say
group
Dylan
against
Hamill.
networking.
Dead.
Something.
Current role.
Dead.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Eating dirt.
Although
If
then
it-
I would put that in my profile to begin with, just in my name, so then people think I'm dead.
Exactly.
And then I
So it
post
has to be
that
like a
I'm
blue
dead.
check mark or something.
So
Like a
your-
little coffin.
Your family would be able to control it. So would they put Saint
Saint
Dylan Hamill?
Dylan Hamill.
Then people will probably get pretty soon that you're dead, unless they don't know. What
I don't think your family can just do that.
Well, they would have access to it.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
buried.
but
I'm gonna be
like-
buried with all the passwords to my accounts and everything,
Oh,
so
okay.
nobody's touching my.
Theologically. I
So,
don't think you could do
Here's
that.
a real good question about dying. I have like 8 Gmails. When I die, will my family just go through all 8 of them?
Yes, we will.
Do you have anything weird?
No, I
in
don't have
them?
anything weird. I just use them for different accounts on different
I don't have
websites.
anything weird. I just really don't want you guys to look at them
Just
after I
don't
die.
look.
No, it's not that I don't want people to look at them. It's that I wonder, will people go through them all?
It will ruin our picture.
I don't think
We'll
people
know.
will care enough to go.
I don't
through
think
them
people will care enough either, but I hope people do care
If
enough.
I had a feeling I was gonna die, I'd put some weird message on my phone, and everyone would be looking like, "Oh,
He knew it.
Now, having one of those videos they play at your funeral, that is top level stuff.
Mm,
if you're
it's like,
watching this,
if
I'm
you're
dead.
watching this, I have just died."
You're 5 hours long.
all.
You know what?
'Cause they have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should read some poetry.
Always a jokester, even at the end.
Make
Sing
it 5 hours
original
of pure
song.
entertainment.
And especially if you record like when you're 20, like you record like an hour when you're 20, an
You
hour
record
when
an
you're
hour
30.
every 10-year mark.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then at the end, you're just like, wow, you guys really sat through that whole thing.
Now, if you want to figure out the passcode to the will lock,
I'm donating all of my estate, by the way, too.
this random person I met when I was 20, apparently,
Yeah.
they gave me a penny.
Or you just say something not true, like, I have a son. You know, like
and all my inheritance goes to him. I'd be in the crowd and I'd step up and I'd say, "Yup, he does." Here.
Want to take a DNA test?
That's in the
I'm
video.
allergic to I'm allergic to DNA tests.
I think another underrated thing, of course, is the video. But planning your own funeral, you know what I mean? Like, you know how you get to help plan your wedding, but your family plans your funeral? Doesn't seem fair.
Well, you can do it.
I'd have to
you
do
can plan
something.
the funeral if you put it in your will.
Exactly.
Like,
Not enough people do it, though.
Yeah.
You have to think ahead, like, okay, there has to be a man.
yellow streamers.
I'd put something.
I want a clown.
Yeah, I think I'd want to do something like King Herod did, though, because when he died, he had so many huge people killed, so that way it would for sure be a day of mourning.
He's not a saint,
The
but
day that he died.
Wait,
So
what?
if you do something like that, so when you die, a bunch of people are killed.
Explain.
That way, everybody will be mourning on the day that you
So
died.
he said, when I die, kill all these people?
Well, on his deathbed, he was saying, like, just kill these people. Basically, just so people would be mourning on the day he died.
That is immoral. How you can become a saint like that, Dylan?
I mean, it won't be something like that.
He'll
It'll
do that, and he'll get
It's
his
gonna be
absolution.
Godfather style.
Be, yeah,
He's just gonna keel over in the garden.
that was.
Just-
Yeah.
just confession after that, and you'll be good.
I've arranged for the murder of 15 of the largest people.
Well, you
in
could
the
stop
world.
it right now.
By art.
Sorry.
What the heck?
It'd be a sad day, though. It'd be a sad, sad day.
It would be a sad day, but no. Planning your funeral, you know, get the clown there, or make sure it's gonna be really sad. Like, make sure the food is awful.
My funeral.
Make sure no one is
No.
enjoying
We
himself.
have good food, but like really solemn. I mean, we have like a full orchestra
Because like the issue
And a
with a
choir.
funeral.
to go like. Whoa.
Should be a rager.
Okay, quiet. The issue with the funeral here, that was just unnecessary. But I'm
No,
so
no,
sorry.
hold on.
That was,
That is so necessary. How are you gonna have a funeral without a choir?
I'm talking about
going-
you singing the note. No,
Oh.
no.
Most people don't have that.
Okay, so
That's why
I can-
they have bad funerals.
You want your funeral.
It's
to be
not a
memorable.
funeral without a choir that goes. Oh.
That's not true. It's not a funeral without booze.
Yeah, but you can have that too.
You can't both.
so here's my issue with funerals. Okay, if you're Catholic, you're supposed to be happy that they're now with God. Okay, or in purgatory and whatnot.
Party.
But-
It
You should also be sad that they're no longer with you.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Depends.
So that's the issue with planning your own funeral. See, I'd work up for the narcissistic side. Be sad that I'm not here now and make the funeral as miserable as possible.
Darn, I can't make it.
Instead of, like, you know, inviting the clown, having yellow streamers.
You could
and
have it be
stuff.
very solemn and still bring the clown.
Just a sad
Give them
clown.
some
Oh, it's an
sad clown. That's a good idea.
It's more like horrifying clown. That's also
There you
sad.
go.
You know, so it scares the kids.
Turn
a
into a
bit.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Nope.
No?
Also, everyone gets to join you at your in heaven.
I've always liked the idea of faking my own death. And
Yeah, that
showing
would be
up in
awesome.
some dramatic way. At my
That would
funeral.
be awesome, like
And
Tom
then-
Sawyer.
Plus, then you get to see what people really think about you.
Would you want your funeral to be happy or sad?
Happy.
Wow.
How would you have a happy funeral though?
You would make it awesome. Great food. Great music.
Free wine, free
Dancers.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Bobby, sad or happy funeral?
Sad. A funeral needs to be sad because it lets you process your grief.
So would you go my route, making sure the food's bad,
No.
making sure you have
No.
a sad clown,
I would make it solemn.
black streamer?
Maybe, okay, actually, let me rephrase that. Not sad, but solemn.
How will the food be solemn?
The food will be just food.
It'll
No,
just
it'll be solemn. food.
Mastacholi will be the food.
What's that? What is it?
It's like the best food ever.
Doesn't sound solemn. It should just be potatoes with salt, no butter.
No salt.
Just-
I want to
Salted
do salt.
potatoes.
I always do potatoes on the ground still, like some dirt on them because they're not baked or anything.
Oh yeah, like
cooked.
potted
You
potatoes.
have to eat it like an apple.
Yeah, so somebody comes by before and digs up the potatoes in the back and just throws them
No,
on
you
the
gotta
table.
dig your own potato.
Oh, it's like a
It's an
hands-on
experience.
experience. I like that.
And
It's
then you
good.
put the body in the hole from the
So
potatoes.
everyone participates in digging the. Oh, I like that.
Filling the grave because they
That's
put
good.
the soil from the pot on the body.
Or the potatoes are so bad that they just regurgitate them onto the body.
Oh.
And that's the hole.
Dylan wants to be buried in potato vomit, apparently.
You gotta be remembered.
It'd be a good story, even though you're dead.
Up in heaven, we're gonna be laughing about it. It's gonna be funny.
They actually eat the potatoes.
Okay, so have you ever considered them having your funeral be 10 years after your death, so it's after you're a saint? You know, you wait 10 years to see if you're gonna become a saint.
Your video is gonna be all about oh, I lived a pious, hard life, and I finally made become a saint. He's not a saint.
Exactly.
That would be
Exactly.
funny.
They keep your body in the freezer for a while.
Everyone in the crowd would be biting their lip during the whole video.
Exactly. It would be a joyous funeral. What do you think of the plan, Dylan?
I don't think you can do
Oh my
that.
god,
I
work.
think you can.
Doesn't seem like a very pious thing to do.
You know, not give your family closure for like 10 years.
You'll be in a freezer for 10 years.
Imagine the anticipation though if you did it for your funeral and there's like one
Exactly.
video.
There'd be like scheduled emails and tweets going out about the funeral, so it's like
Everyone
a
will,
big funeral.
everyone will be able to make it.
Ultimately, everyone can be a saint with just a little bit of focus and hard work.
A
Discipline.
little bit of focus.